They're gonna kick somebody off?
We are.
Oh no.
Letting, my friend Destiny in.
Oh no.
We're gonna
This is
bounce
such
someone.
a dick move.
It's not personal, but someone's gonna get bounced. All right.
Now, what do you mean when you keep saying I'm letting culture dictate? What does that mean exactly?
You always allude to what culture and media and the system, the institutions have done to us. Therefore, you are making a stance. I'm not saying that's, if you're doing out of love, that's you. But there's a lot of people who say, I need to make a political stance. And I need to protect my community. Thus, I must align and marry a black person because it is to the betterment of... There's, well, I'm saying if you're only doing that by its, well, that's what I'm saying. Dating,
Legendary,
dating and
legendary.
marriage.
You're next any which way. Legendary
Yeah.
and Steven. All right. So finish your point.
Dating and
then...
marriage is inherently nuanced. It's good for you if you say so, but I'm saying I'm attacking the idea and saying it's not inherently good. In fact, it's against the definition of love, and there's several definitions of love.
I don't see a problem with anybody acknowledging the society and the world that we live in and basing our decisions off of that. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm willing to just listen right here.
I'm surprised. Okay. All right, Steven.
Learning.
I'm just curious. Wait, this sounds like such a depressing way to pick a relationship. It's like I'm imagining like if we were to go by
I'm not depressed.
If we were going
I'm not
by
depressed.
if we
I love
were
black
going
women, I love black people, and I love my people. I'm not depressed at all. Thank you.
Okay, I mean, I've heard a lot of white people say they love white people and they only want to be with white people, but we can argue whether or not there's a difference. I'm just saying like the idea of like identifying like your love interest with like a struggle sounds like such an unbelievably sad way to pick a relationship. Like I'm trying to imagine applying this to. That is what I interpret from it. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's why I'm speaking right now. Yeah. So like, if we were to identify any other group of like people that have experienced like a struggle or a trauma, like I can't imagine telling them that like, oh, well, you should like, I think it's probably good to only date other people that have like these types of experiences. Like if you were like abused as a child, like you should only date other people that were abused as children because they're the only people that understand you. Like, I don't know, like that mentality just seems really strange to me.
That's petty, and you're petty.
It is.
What is petty?
Let me respond really quickly. I think that's 100% a mischaracterization. Because while I look at these characteristics, that doesn't mean that literally every person who falls within this is automatically compatible. There's a bevy of difference. I'm going to be looking at like agreeableness. I am going to look for a physical attraction. I am also going to look for compatibleness as far as our virtue and our moral system. So I'm going to be looking at all of these different factors. It's an intellectual understanding that a person that's going to be able to recognize my experience and the thing that I'm going through and the thing that my children and my progeny will be going through, that person is going to probably be someone who has experienced it themselves. But what I will say is I'm going to look for a person who also, while recognizing the struggle that we're going through, also recognizes that we have a responsibility to embed the drive to thrive in our children. And that drive to thrive is not going to be something that's passive. It has to be aggressive because the system is aggressively working against us. Again, this is not depression.
Yeah, but none of these things are unique to black people, right? I'm sure you can find white people.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. No, they're absolutely not. What are you
Come on, Destiny. No, don't do that. No.
The degree of marginalization that African Americans have experienced in this country.
White people chattel slavery.
Wait, hold it. First of all, no one here is a chattel slave, so I don't know why the fuck you're bringing that up. Number one, okay? Number two.
Go ahead. Steven, come on. Steven.
Don't come on me. Wait, hold on. We can't have a modern day discussion about like race and dating if you're just going to screech like chattel slavery like it means anything. That has nothing to do with this conversation. All right?
I was going to say the same thing.
It very much has.
It
has plenty to do with the conversation because if you want to start talking about our cultural experiries, I don't know if you're one
None
of
of you have a cultural experience. Well, I'm talking my ass. Maybe somebody here was a.
Whoa. Go ahead, Fanatic.
So yeah, no. It's not. No, I'm not going to have immediate experience. To act as if the culture that African Americans today are completely removed from the experience of slavery. And again, it's not just slavery. It would be the continual cultural oppression. All of those things. And
of course.
So all those things are very, very much like culturally factors.
Yeah, of course they are. Sure. The idea that it's like that is like such an important thing to you, so that it's going to like inform
it is an important
race
thing to us. It's a part of our history.
okay, congratulations. Okay, you get applause in the chat. Okay, the idea that that thing would be so important to you that that's going to be like one of the defining and like one of the lines that you draw around people you date just comes off as so incredibly unbelievable to me.
Sure, I would agree with you. If my only criteria was just to have to be
no. Not hold on. Hold on. I'm not saying that that's your only criteria. I'm saying that if that would be a line for you. So, for instance, if you were to tell me every single thing that you just said, and you said that's why I think it would be like really nice if I had a partner that also shared this perspective, then yeah, I would agree with you. But if you're going to tell me this is a line, I think I absolutely need to date a black person, and anybody that's not black is automatically not even considered a dating partner because they don't have that perspective. That's the thing that I'm attacking. I just think that's like a really extreme and kind of sad way to approach both your life and relationship.
Destiny, so it's not for you to understand. It's not for him to understand. You can't understand it.
Would you say the same thing? Would you say Would you say the same thing to a white person that says they will only date white people?
No,
I wouldn't care.
Wait, I just want to hear. Wait, he said
that's their business. That's fine.
Okay, so personally, I'm a fan of not going back to the segregated dating, but I mean, at least you're consistent.
I'm sure because you probably fetishize black women.
I don't fetishize. First of all, if anybody's fetishizing black women here, it's you. You're the one in here saying you wouldn't date anybody that's not black. So if anybody's fetishizing black people here, it's you, my dude.
How can I fetishize something that's a part that's my counterpart?
It's called
If I'm a black man, I came from a black woman. Destiny, I came from a black woman.
Is that like a justification for only dating black people?
Wait, I wanted to ask Destiny. So Destiny, like, you agree that black people have a unique experience here in America today, right?
You won't agree to that.
I mean, of course I
Yes, you
will. What
will.
the But I mean, like, it depends on like it depends on what you mean by unique. If you're saying so unique that like literally like no other person can understand or relate to any part of like what you did, like, I mean, it depends on how unique you mean.
No. I think you understand this. Wait, Destiny, wait. No, Destiny is smart. No, Destiny, I won't give you this out. You understand exactly. This is the conservative. Wait, this is conservative Destiny coming out. Destiny, you understand what I'm saying?
No, this is not conservative. This is just I can't believe that left-leaning people are arguing against interracial dating. So that's the Destiny that's coming out right now. But go ahead.
No. So the experience that black people have in this country is very unique. So when you're going to have a black child, what Fanatic is saying, and what I would argue, even though I don't hold this view, I could argue this because I can see that it's coherent. I would want to have a spouse that could identify, relate, and give advice, blah blah blah, on the experiences that my progeny is gonna experience.
How could you teach a little black girl what it is to be pulled over by the cops?
How could you teach a little black girl? Wait, hold on, shut the f up. How could you teach? No, hold on. How could you teach a little black girl anything when you're a man? Like, what do you mean? There's going to be tons of things that you can't teach your particular child about, right? This is why you have like partners that complement your strengths and weaknesses.
You don't
like
answer questions, you just ask more questions and responses to the question.
He's explaining.
I can answer the question. The question is, you probably listen to other black people's experiences. Hopefully, you integrate that into your worldview, and then you give the best explanation you can. That's what any parent does with their child. The fact that you think that you as a parent are going to have all the answers to your child because you have the same fucking skin color is hilariously fucking stupid to me.
So basically,
you're on mute, Fanatic.
Yeah, that's not the claim, Destiny. It's not the idea that we're gonna have.
Don't steal man this motherfucker's argument. I don't need you to come in here and tell me what his claim was. Okay, I'm responding directly to what he said.
Cannot relate to that experience. That's the point.
Your kids are gonna have tons of experiences that you can't relate to. Guess what? None of our fucking parents had any fucking idea what the internet was. That's like that's a part of being a parent.
So, Destiny, you keep stretching the argument. What you're doing is you keep
I'm not distracting. I'm responding. Stop stealing it. Oh, dude, Fanatic is triggering the fuck out of me right now. I'm just saying, Fanatic. One guy's saying something. I'm trying to respond to it. And Fanatic keeps saying, I'm not responding. I'm not talking to Fanatic. I'm talking to the other guy. I'm responding directly to what he's saying. But sorry.
Go ahead. First off, we're not arguing, because this is my argument as well. I'm not arguing that I'm going to have every answer to every problem my daughter is going to face.
I'm not saying, no, but you are arguing. You're arguing that.
You literally just
Oh
made
my
that
God.
statement.
You're
So
about
what
to
I'm
grandstand.
saying-
Don't grandstand for 20 minutes. Let's just talk
I've
exactly.
already not been talking. I haven't been able to finish one sentence. You keep interjecting. You made a really stupid statement that I'm addressing. You made the statement. You're not going to have every answer to every problem.
Can I just make my statement and you can respond? Can I make my statement so you can respond instead of
You already made the statement. I'm responding.
Let me tell you the statement. The statement
don't
is
respond.
that I
You just ask more
disagree.
questions.
I disagree that you need to have shared racial struggles as a necessary condition to have a child together. That's what I disagree with.
Okay, and we're not making that statement that you do have to have shared racial struggles in order to make a child together.
Oh, then
That's
we don't
not what
disagree
we're
on
saying.
anything. Cool. Then we agree on everything.
We do disagree on, if you will let me finish the sentence, but I see it. You want to just keep talking over so no one ever gets a word in edgewise while you completely hyperbolize.
You've talked
literally
like 3
the argument.
times as much.
You've done it over and over and over again. First off,
Okay. Whoa. Shut up. Everyone shut up. Let's stop arguing about who can talk and just talk.
So first off, the other thing you said earlier, right? I think there's a very big difference between advocating for a personal choice to date someone within your own race and then making the prescriptive claim that marriage should be only between people within the same race. And so I think it's really disingenuous when you take the argument back to the point and say stuff like, I think we shouldn't go back to the 60s and arguing about, interracial marriage. That's not the argument we're making. We're not saying that this should be the case for literally everybody. This is our claim that we're justifying based off of our experiences. And I think that there's a very obvious difference there. Secondly, no, it's not about saying that I'm going to have, or my wife will have every answer for our daughter. It would be more about the idea that these specific experiences that we happen to hold in high enough esteem are something that probably only a black woman would understand. And because they are so particularly important, that it would be most likely that it would make the most sense for a black person to be able to do that.
I mean, even that
That's
statement
not
isn't
true.
necessarily
How could a
true.
white woman
You could go.
understand that?
You could
How
go.
could you understand that? You said that you couldn't, and you can ask other people from other cultures and get a better worldview to answer that specific question that I asked you.
You think if you had a kid with Candace Owens, you think she's going to give that child a good perspective on how to deal with the cops?
Nope. I would not. But again,
So there it is. So obviously, just being black isn't the good enough qualifier for it. There's obviously something
Nobody
else.
said just being black.
That's what I keep saying. Hyperbolizing every argument because that's not the argument.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so Fanatic, I've got Fanatic.
Explain the
Fanatic,
difference.
you can explain what you want, but I'm not talking to you anymore because the other guy is saying some real dumb shit, and then you're coming in with a totally different argument, saying like, oh, well, no one is saying that, when the other guy is saying that. So you can go ahead and preach. I don't know who the you're talking to, though. Have fun, okay?
Well, Fanatic, let Legendary speak for himself, right?
I'm speaking for myself too.
You're not speaking for yourself.
Great.
You're
You
cutting
heard-
in
you
when
heard-
I'm responding to him, trying to steel man an argument that he didn't make.
Legendary talk for himself. So Legendary,
All I have to say is this other guy, Destiny, he has a fetishization for black women.
oh
I love Prime, man.
Now the
He
funny
has a
thing is that if I go,
whoa.
It's so much of a problem.
Destiny, tell the
for
truth. Just
black
tell the
people
truth.
to wanna
It's
date
okay.
other black people. I guess he feels like that limits his
Girl,
his
Can you let him talk?
beautiful.
with black women, and that's all I have to say, man.
Wow. All right. So
That's
oh, I really
we're
want to say real
gonna-
quick, I don't fetishize black women, but I'm worried if I say that Fanatics are going to come in and scream at me that that's not
Yes,
what the
you
other
do.
guy was actually saying. So I don't want to say anything.
You got to think for the brown sugar. Keep it real. I see it in your face.
Come on.
Steven, do you think, right, the white family is under attack due to inbreeding or breeding with other races?
You're framing the question in a way that it's almost begging, like, is the white family? I don't think that you can attack like races of family. I don't consider that like races of family coming and going as being attacked. Like people change, like cultural and genetic like backgrounds change as time goes on. So I mean, like.
I agree with you. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Destiny,
this
is there a reason why you're answering this like Ben Shapiro doing the political compass test? Like, it's not a complicated word under attack or not under
is, but
attack.
because
Like, you have to like figure out the nuance of the word. Like, you know what it means.
Well, I mean, like I can address the issue. I just like when you phrase it that way, you're already kind of begging the question. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say because if you're like, oh well, Destiny, you said that the white family wasn't under attack. It's like, oh yeah, I did say that. Oh really? Well, what about the fact that like white people have less children? Blah blah. Well, it's like okay, yeah. Then I guess if you're gonna phrase it that way.
Come on, Destiny. No,
Destiny,
because I can't let you get away with that.
It's not getting
Are
it.
people purposely breeding in a way to make sure that there's less white people? And do you feel like this is a problem? If so, do you feel like people are purposely going ahead and doing interracial dating to make sure that you guys are no longer the majority? Like,
Yeah, no, of course
that you
not.
know
If you
what
phrase it
is
that way,
meant.
no, I don't think there's an intentionality behind it, and I don't think it's damaging or
Okay.
bad. Yeah, of course.
Under attack needs to be intentional. No one attacks things and say, "Oops, I didn't mean to fucking kill you."
It depends.
Involuntary
right?
manslaughter?
It depends on who you're
what-
talking to. Because
What depends, Stephen?
some white supremacists will argue that like white people are under attack in the United States because of like Mexican immigrants, and they'll say, well, maybe the Mexican immigrants don't mean it, but they're still attacking our race and culture. So I'm just trying to answer questions carefully because this isn't the only panel that I'm on, because people take answers and they quote them in 50 million other contexts. So yeah, okay, sorry.
Stephen, I wasn't trying to put you in a gotcha.
I know you're not. I'm
Actually,
just trying to explain why I answer the way that I do. I don't think that. I think that breeding or having breeding is a really fucking weird word. Can we stop using it? I think that having children with people of other races is fine. I think that mixed race people are awesome. Like, I don't care if there's white people or mixed race people or Mexican people or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, I think that having like a dating like not a preference racist, but having that be like a huge qualifier or a deal breaker is cringy as fuck. Like, I don't think that any of this is like a big problem that anybody should worry about. So yeah.
Okay. So I phrased it exactly that way because that's the way Legend phrased it, right? So I'm saying be like that on the other side. So I'm actually not trying to do a gotcha here.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, fair enough. So that everyone understands, right?
I'd like to steal Man Destiny's point if I can.
No, I don't need anybody to steal man any of my points. You can speak for yourself, but I don't need anybody to steal man my
I
points.
get you.
I'm gonna
I
attack,
get
I'm
you,
gonna
but
attack the point right now.
You really only alluded to like a small part of it, right? And there's something to be said about the systems of power that are in place, i.e. the government. And whenever the government starts actually creating programs that incentivize or give opportunities to one group of people over another, it does create the dynamic where there are groups of people being propped up over others, and that's exactly where I will say the white supremacists bring that argument into play.
Yeah, so real quick, if you want to do that, people do not make decisions about having kids like this. There have been tons of governments that have tried it, and it doesn't work that way. Tons of governments have tried to purposefully like incentivize people, groups of people having children. They tried it under Mussolini. They've tried it. I think there might even be programs in Canada where they try to get people to have kids or whatever, like tax benefits that we do it in the United States. This idea that you can like make groups of people have children when they don't want to, that's just not how people make families. There might be reasons why certain people have kids or why certain groups of people are having more kids than other kids, but it's not because the government is giving welfare to black moms and that's why they're having kids, or abortion is killing black babies. It's not like targeted government programs. There are social reasons.
Yeah, but it happens exactly when the government starts instituting the war on drugs at the federal level, starts removing black fathers from the home, right? So then they set up the conditions necessary to be able to pull the black father out of the home. Now the mother is sitting there on the welfare system and is trying to figure out how to be able to make her way through life. And you say that there's no incentive to be able to try to create these things, and yet it's something that we're seeing, right? So like the reality is slapping everybody in the face.
Yeah, sure. I don't think it was. I don't think it was like intentionally. Like the government was like, we're gonna attack the black family by making the war on drugs. I think that it's a lot of other dumb shit.
That's exactly what they did, Destiny. Check out waronDrugs.org, right?
You were worried about
with Rinkelman that decided that one of Nixon's aides that said specifically that the reason why they put the war on drugs in place was to affect the black community with heroin and the Hispanic community with marijuana, right? Like this information is readily available for everybody.
No, wait, Destiny.
This isn't just out of the blue. Like we're just trying to get criminals off the street, because they would have been getting white people off the street too. But no, they're only grabbing.
It literally was about getting criminals off the street. That is absolutely
they only
right.
got majority black.
No! Oh God!
Destiny, wait, Destiny. Wait,
If that was true,
hold on, wait, Azzy, hold on, wait.
If that was true, then why are most of the jails filled with black men?
I don't know how radical I want to get on this panel because I don't think this is a good place to have this discussion.
Come on, Destiny. Go full send. Come on, man.
You want me to go full send? It's because most of the people that commit violent crime in the United States are black. That's why it happened. And that's where a lot of the drug offenses were.
And there we have it.
There you go. We'll go full fashion.
Go ahead.
We have it. We have white supremacy. He shows his face.
There's the white supremacy. The thing is, everyone on this panel is under 30 years old. Nobody here knows what it was like living in the U.S. in the fucking 80s and 90s. There's a reason why all of these big crime bills, there's a reason why the big Biden evil fucking anti-black crime bill and the war on drugs had so much support, not just in the white community, but especially in all the fucking black communities too. And if you guys want to walk around being fucking morons, that's great for you, because the world is really easy when you just walk around thinking like, oh, well, the reason this exists is because it was all white supremacists and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that life is way more fucking complicated than that, okay? It wasn't just a bunch of random fucking racist people that marched into fucking the Capitol Hill with their KKK hats on and was like, let's fuck over black people, okay? Your world is so naive and stupid if you think that.
Please let me talk.
It's crazy how white people are the majority of the population, but yet 13% of the population are the ones who's committing all the crimes.
It's not crazy. There's really good reasons for it. I'm not sitting here saying that like black people.
Wait.
It's not accurate. Basically, y'all the majority.
Shut up. What? Shut up. Thank you.
Fuck. Hold on, real quick. Can I qualify what I said earlier? Because I'm getting like baited so fucking hard on this panel.
I'm finna give you that chance.
You're being honest.
No, fuck off with whoever said I'm being honest. Listen, there are reasons why certain groups of people in the United States commit more crime than other groups of people. It's not because they're genetically predisposed to commit crimes. It's not because of one race being inferior superior to another, which, by the way, was said on this panel earlier about black people, which is really fucking weird. Okay, different people have had different histories in the United States, especially black people have had a very unique history in the United States, and obviously there are going to be reasons why they're in areas where they're more likely to commit crime than other people, like white people that have been like socioeconomically privileged or advantages, people that have inherited tons of wealth from their ancestors, people that don't need to commit crimes because they've got fucking rich moms and dads and they don't have to like do any of that shit in life. They live in cities where they've got economic opportunities, they go to schools because mom and dad will buy college for them. Obviously, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, black people are inherently fucking criminals, blah, 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 blah. That sounds like some cringe shit that Legendary would say about fucking white people, okay? So before you try to bait me into some crazy ass fucking alt-righter position, okay, let me just make myself understood, okay?
That's how you feel.
Jesus.
Genetically, white people are inferior to black people. That's just a fact. Genetically.
Wait, hold on. What?
No.